Dat to the Who Dat Nation. Welcome to the Dome Patrol podcast, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints here on the KB Radio Network. Week 10 is in the books for the New Orleans Saints, and wouldn't you know, after 2 months, 2 months of losing, 7 straight to be exact, the New Orleans Saints have snapped their 7-game losing streak and won. They won, and not only won, but they beat the Atlanta Falcons by the score of 20-17 in the Superdome this week. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be 100% real. I am so happy. I feel like the Saints just won the Super Bowl because honestly, this is our Super Bowl this season. We're not going anywhere else. We don't have any other game that's of this magnitude as far as the fan base is concerned. If you're a true Saints fan, you know that this game had to be won. We had to beat the Atlanta Falcons because this is our hated rivals. This has been since the inception of this division, since these two teams started linking up. You can tell by looking at the all-time overall record of these two squads. It's dead even. It's a back and forth, and before we get into the recap, all weekend I'm sitting around, I'm looking at the news, and we see Atlanta Falcons fans come to New Orleans. Welcome to New Orleans, by the way. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and it looks like they enjoyed themselves this weekend. They're all in the French Quarter, going down Bourbon Street, second line, and that's our thing. That's what we do. But for some strange reason, they feel the need. They had to come here and pretty much pee on our graves and kick us while we're down. We just fired our coach. We just traded away one of our best players. We're decimated with injuries and so on and so forth. But for some strange reason, they act like this was a foregone conclusion that they were going to come down here and destroy the New Orleans Saints. Let us not forget that when we played earlier this season, we gave them that game. And I don't mean that to be, throwing shots or nothing like that. We gave them the game. We muffed the punt that turned into 7 points for them. Derek Carr lofted up a pick 6 for him that gave him another 7 points. The defense on the last 2 defensive drives by our defense, we didn't allow a single yard on from their offense, yet we lost the game. It was just stupid boneheaded things that the Saints did, causing them to win the game. But hey, that's been a trope that's been going on. Hey, it almost happened in this game. So it's just an example of that's where we are as a team right now. It's not a reflection of the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons and their fans act like they are the creme de la creme in football. You're not. I'm sorry. Atlanta has always, as long as I remember, and my memory goes back 40 years, 45 to be exact, I remember that the Atlanta Falcons always had talent. That was never an issue. They always had talent. They had good players. They even had decent coaches. But for some strange reason, they just couldn't get over the hump. They made it to a Super Bowl. They actually made it to a Super Bowl, a prize that has been evading that franchise their entire existence. But they finally made it to it. They got there. They had it in the bag, and they messed it up. And they haven't gotten close, nowhere near the Super Bowl since. You might could say they took about 8 steps back. Now, I know there's Atlanta fans out there saying, "Oh, you sitting there talking all that trash. What are y'all doing?" Well, we suck right now. But see, the difference between us and them, we suck. But I can admit that we're sucking. Saints fans can admit that we're sucking. Not Atlanta fans. They can't see the forest for the trees. They really believe that they're that team. You're not. You are not. Kirk Cousins has went up against this defense twice this season and has yet to throw a touchdown. And he never will this season because this was the last matchup of the season with him. He has not thrown a touchdown against the New Orleans Saints defense. But this is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was supposed to be that team. Now, mind you, the New Orleans Saints, keep in mind, just fired their coach, 6 days ago? Just traded away their best cornerback 5 days ago. Their other cornerback, their number 2 cornerback, is on IR. Their backup cornerback, Rico Payton, he wasn't playing. They have no secondary. The Honey Badger, God bless him, he had an interception today, but that was a makeup because he was playing like pure slaw today. He couldn't tackle a fire hydrant today for some strange reason, but he made that pick. Thank God. But that's all you have back there in that secondary of note. The Atlanta Falcons have their full arsenal. They have every weapon at their disposal. Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, the Mooney. They have all of their weapons and couldn't do nothing against this Saints defense. Now they can run the ball. They did a really good job. Bijan Robinson did an excellent job running the ball, but that was in the second half. First half, they ain't even try. But the second half, oh man, Robinson was killing them. Even Ajir was getting loose for a minute there. They were running all over the Saints. We'll go over the statistics in a few. Yeah, this was supposed to be the year. You know, Kirk Cousins is there, and he's going to shepherd this team. Let me give you a word of advice, Atlanta fans. I'm going to help y'all. Even though we're rivals, I'm going to help y'all going forward. You see how Derek Carr is pure hot garbage? And he was hot garbage today. You see how he's garbage and we just accepted the fact that's what it is? We're stuck with that. You need to come to that realization with Kirk Cousins. I don't understand the fascination with Kirk Cousins. Never did. Even when going all the way back to Washington. Never understood why everybody felt this guy was the second coming of Drew Brees or Tom Brady or something. He is not that good. No, if he was, what has he won? Please, somebody tell me, what has Kirk Cousins won? I'll wait. Did he win something in Washington? Nope. Did he win anything in Minnesota? Nope. Is he going to win anything in Atlanta? No. Because they did not impress me today. Atlanta Falcons did not impress me. And I'm saying all that to say, yeah, the Saints won this game, but the Saints won against an inferior team. Atlanta is not a good team. Atlanta's going to win these little whatever games going forward. Most likely they're going to win the division because Tampa is kind of reeling. Even though Tampa won, no, they lost today. Tampa lost today against the 49ers. But they're probably going to win the division, probably get a home playoff game. That's about as far as y'all going to go. It is what it is. You're not beating Detroit. You're not beating the Rams. You're not beating Frisco. You're not beating Washington. I don't see it. I just don't see it. But that's neither here or there. That's the Atlanta Falcons. I just had to get that off my chest because Atlanta always talk that noise, and it's like, my God, do y'all really think y'all run this division? Even when the Saints are horrible, the Saints always takes time out of their schedule to let you know you're second. You're never be us. You, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, you're not like us. I'm sorry. Let it go. It is what it is. It's fine with being second. It's fine. And it's okay. We did you a favor. We just let you know where we stand. Now, with that being said, I hope and pray that the Saints don't win another game this season. I just wanted them to win this. I just wanted them to win this. Yes, we messed up our draft position, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I'm happy with this victory. But the rest of the year, I could care less. I really could, win or lose. I really just want them to play hard. And today, they played hard. They played inspired football today on all three sides of the ball. Special teams, offense and defense. They looked like a brand new team. It was a new energy. Now, normally, historically, throughout the NFL, whenever there's a change at head coaching, and the interim comes in, and the first game or two, the first week or two that the new coach is there, yeah, there's always a different vibe. Inspired football being played. But, I don't expect that to last throughout the end of the season. I don't expect Darren Rizzi to go 7-1 or something. How many games we got left? Yeah, I don't expect them to go 7-1 and secure the job, going forward or something like that. I just want them to be competitive. And today they were competitive. Defense was competitive, even though they gave up some big plays throughout this game. Let's not get it twisted. Yeah, we changed head coach, but the personnel on the field is the same. This is the same players who've been whiffing on tackles all season. These are the same players who can't throw. Derek Carr can't throw. I'm sorry, Derek Carr is trash. He is trash. Today it's just painfully obvious. If it's not a deep bomb, he can't throw. He can't make short throws. He can't make decisive reads. The dude is just, I used to say he's average. He is not average. An average quarterback can make a read, at this level. My God, Spencer Rattler was making reads. He he was dumping them off whenever there was blitz. Derek Carr can't even check out of a blitz that they showed you they would come. They knew that you weren't going to check out of the play. And he still, every time, they'll come with a blitz, and he's like, oh, it's like a deer in headlights. Oh, my God, what should I do? Come on, man. You knew they were blitzing. You knew they were blitzing. It was so frustrating to watch him play. Now, I will give him this. The deep balls, the balls that he threw to MVS were beautiful. Those were through beautiful passes. Deep bombs. The pass he threw to Alvin Kamara at the end of the game that Alvin Kamara dropped, that was a beautiful throw. Alvin Kamara just messed it up. And it hurt my heart because Alvin Kamara was playing. He was out of his mind today. He really, actually, I was telling my cousin this during the game. I was like, man, I don't care what the history books are going to say about this season. I will say this. Alvin Kamara, this is probably his best season running back wise since he's been in New Orleans. He looks amazing this year. And I think this year this the year he's going to get 1,000 yards rushing. He already got 1,000 yards all purpose, but I mean, strictly rushing. He's never done that. I think this the year he's going to do it. He looks amazing out there running the ball, and even on the screen passes and all that they finally ran today. He looked excellent just on that play, and it was a perfect play call. And up to that point, I was questioning Clint Kubiak and his play calling, but hey, he pulled it off on that one. That was a nice play call. But in any event, with the offense struggling the entire second half, the New Orleans Saints defense stepped up to preserve the 20-17 victory over the Atlanta Falcons. First, safety Tyrann Mathieu, also known as the Honey Badger, he picked off Kirk Cousins as he was marching the Falcons into scoring position. It was a scary drive at that point. It was looking like, well, and I wasn't mad. That's the crazy thing about it. I was so happy with the energy that the team was dishing out, the effort that was being displayed out there, I wasn't even mad, especially at the defense, because the offense, they started to sputher, especially in that second half. My God, the 3-and-outs were killing me. And you're putting this defense back on the field. Defense been holding Atlanta's offense the entire game. You got what's his name, Young Ho Koo. He's missing field goals, and this dude never missed. He's missing field goals, getting field goals blocked, and I'm like, man, this can't be happening again. And, and maybe Dennis Allen wasn't the problem. Maybe we are truly cursed because we cannot get over the hump. We keep messing things up. Everything falls in our way, in our direction, and we still can't win. But it did work out at the end, thank God. But that interception sealed that drive. The Saints gave the ball back when they went 3-and-out after that, though. And Chase Young saved us. Chase Young sacked Kirk Cousins. He fumbled the ball backwards, but we couldn't get the recovery. See, that's what I'm saying. We get these opportunities, and the ball literally doesn't bounce our way. And but it was still for the good because it took them out of field goal range. Then you had a desperation 4th down play. Alante Taylor gave a game-sealing tackle as the time expired, and Bob's your uncle. Saints win the game. The win ends the Saints' 7-game lose streak. They improved to 3-7. Atlanta drops to 6-4. It's the first victory for Saints interim head coach Darren Rizzi, who replaced Dennis Allen on Monday as the head coach. I am taking this moment to congratulate Darren Rizzi. I'm gonna tell you something. I really like this guy. I'm not in that camp. Oh man, make him the permanent head coach. Pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. It's just one game. And let's not forget. Let's look at the Las Vegas Raiders, right? Antonio Pierce, last year he was the interim coach. The players loved him. They lobbied for him to be the permanent coach. Everybody's responding to him. He's gonna turn this ship around and all this here. Look at him this season. Everything's falling apart. He's throwing players under the bus. Nobody wants to play for him. It's anarchy over there now because they went with Antonio Pierce. Now, that's not to say that Antonio Pierce is a bad coach or he wasn't the right man for the job, but they should have looked. They should have did their due diligence and looked around and see if he was truly the best man for the job. Same thing in New England. Bill Belichick gone. They promote Gerard Mayo as the head coach. Cool. He's been with the organization, played for the organization, been on Bill Belichick's staff. And so, okay, that's cool. Let's go move forward. They won today, I believe. But they're struggling. And he's making some questionable decisions, and he's also throwing players under the bus as well. Now, these are former players we're talking about with Gerard Mayo and Antonio Pierce, defensive players at that. So they're more blunt. So they're going to do that. But that doesn't go over well in locker rooms. I can tell you that much. But they should have did their due diligence. And that's not to say that Gerard Mayo wasn't the best man for the job, but you got to do your due diligence. Same thing here in the Who Dat Nation, here with the Saints. Darren Rizzi, he checks all the boxes, at least all of mine. He does. He has all the experience in the world. He's been coaching for years. He got his start under a great coach, Bill Parcells. Later on, he was under Sean Payton, and he's been under Todd Bowles. He's been around the league. He's soaked up some real good knowledge from some real good coaches, and he's well respected throughout the league. He's known around the league by a lot of players, and his energy. And I know I sound like a broken record when I constantly say it, but man, you don't know how far that goes for a team, because the leader, whether it's the head coach, whether it's your quarterback, your team leader, whatever, the energy of the leader radiates to the rest of the team. It's infectious. You know, if you're bland, your team is going to be bland. If you're hyped up, excited, your team is going to be hyped up and excited. Let's just stay here in New Orleans. You look at when Sean Payton was the coach. Sean Payton, discipline. He got loose. He'll get fun in the locker room. He'll dance around with them, but he'll get in a press conference and be as stern as I don't know what, do your job and blah, blah, blah. And the team, it reflected. And anybody who didn't have that same aura, they were off the team, So you had that, it all reflected on the team. And the same thing with Drew Brees when he was here on the Sean Payton, it all reflected on the team. We fast forward, Dennis Allen becomes the head coach. Bland, vanilla, no swag, just out there. And the team just looked like they were out there. No fire, no energy, no nothing. No accountability, no nothing. Darren Rizzi, one game now. I'm not jumping out the window here, but it's just one game. He comes out, his opening press conference. He's fiery, he's excited, he's passionate, he's emotional. And the team came out today with that same fire, that same emotion, that same passion. You can just see it. It radiated on the TV screen. And I was upset with myself because I had an opportunity to go to this game for free. Somebody was going to give me tickets. But I was so disgusted with this team, but I don't want to. Why would I waste my time? That's what I was telling them. I'm like, I appreciate it, but I ain't going. Now I'm kicking myself. Like, man, I wish I would have went. I wish I would have went. And I'll probably never get that opportunity again. Oh, well. But any event, yeah, you have a different vibe and feel with this squad. And you can tell after the game, when the game was over and the emotion that poured out from Darren Rizzi. I mean, throughout the game, when he was going at it with the refs about a call and all this here, Dennis Allen did none of that. And I hate to kick a man when he's down. God bless him. I wish him well. But Dennis Allen is so trash as a head coach. They like on the oh my God, was it the catch? That wasn't a catch. No, it wasn't that. It was the holding call on the first play of the game when we were robbed of that touchdown by Taysom Hill, because that was not a holding. That was not a holding call. They blew that, but it cost us 7 points. Anyways, Darren Rizzi was hot. Darren Rizzi was going at it with the refs. He was, got emotional, got in their face. Same thing with another play that happened later in the game. A couple of times, when they blocked the field goal, John Ridgeway blocked the field goal. The emotion, the fire. Of course, he's a special teams guy, so of course he was going to be super excited for that. But it's just the emotion on it, and that radiates to the rest of the team. Who doesn't want to play for that? Who doesn't want to play for a coach like that? But we'll see going forward, man. I mean, if he can get this team, and I'm not championing for them to win out and make some noise, and we end up picking 18th or 19th in the draft, and that would stink. But then you got to think too, no matter where we pick, as long as Mickey Loomis is the general manager, it's going to be a bad pick anyway, because he hasn't picked well. But let's slide over to our stats. But before we get to the stats, I also want to say this. I'm talking about the team and how things have changed. All season, you haven't heard Cam Jordan name. You haven't heard Chase Young name. You didn't even hear Peyton Turner. You probably forgot he was on the team. But today, you heard them guys' name. Peyton Turner. This probably was his best game as a New Orleans Saint. He was all over. He was in that backfield like he was on Kirk Cousins like white on rice today. I was so proud of him. Then he ended up getting hurt, but he did come back. I was shocked by that, but good on him. Chase Young, I actually saw him apply pressure, and on a crucial point of the game, actually got a sack, a forced fumble, and all that. I mean, he was all over. Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan had a big sack today, his first sack of the year. I mean, you haven't heard it. Like I said, I'm not saying that Darren Rizzi is the reason for that, but I find it very coincidental that this team was able to do some things they haven't done in the previous 9 weeks of this season. So, hey, maybe. But then again, you look at that and you still get mad. At least I do. You should have did this 3 weeks earlier when we had a chance to save this season. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into the stats of today's game, beginning with the passing, starting with the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins, he was 23 of 38, 306 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. He was sacked 3 times today. For the New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr, he was 16 for 25, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 sacks. Good job on him. Leading rusher for the Atlanta Falcons was Bijan Robinson, 20 carries for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the New Orleans Saints, the leading rusher was Alvin Kamara, 17 carries for 55 yards. Leading receiver for the Atlanta Falcons was Drake London, 8 catches for 97 yards, no touchdowns. For the New Orleans Saints, it was MVS. I can't get his name. Every time I try to say his name, I go to blip, 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 and forget it. You know who MVS is. He had 3 catches, 3. He only had 3 catches for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 of his 3 catches were touchdowns today. Tackles, leading tackler for the Atlanta Falcons was Caden Ellis. Yeah, old Caden Ellis coming back to the Dome. He had 10 tackles total today. For the New Orleans Saints, it was Demario Davis with 10 tackles as well. Demario Davis is another one. He was flying all over the field today as well, which kind of shocked me. He looked like the old Demario today. Jumping over to team stats, let's begin with first downs. Atlanta had 25 first downs. Saints had 14. Third down efficiency. Saints, 5 for 13. Atlanta, 5 for 14. On fourth down, Atlanta was 1 for 2. Saints were 0 for 1. Total plays. Atlanta ran 73 total plays to the Saints 52. Total yardage. Atlanta 468 yards to the Saints 365. Both teams ran 11 drives. Yards per play. Atlanta was 6.4. Saints were 7.0. Passing yardage. Atlanta 287 to the Saints 269. Rushing. Atlanta 181 to the Saints 96. Red zone. Atlanta was 1 for 3. The Saints were 1 for 3. Penalties, which was, it was flag galore today. It was pretty even. Atlanta had 6 penalties for 45 yards. Saints were 8 penalties for 76 yards. Atlanta turned the ball over once, and the time of possession was won by the Atlanta Falcons. They had the ball for 35 minutes and 7 seconds to the Saints, 24 minutes and 53 seconds. Our grades for today's matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. In case you don't know, and this is your first time listening to the show, welcome to the show, by the way. I hope I said something today that will have you continue to check out the Dome Patrol podcast every week here on the KB Radio Network. But how we do this after every Saints game, I grade every unit of the New Orleans Saints that took the field today in some capacity. Offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. Out of those 4 categories, we round them all up, add them all up, and come up with an overall grade for the New Orleans Saints performance against the Atlanta Falcons. Let's begin with offense. Offense was the weakest part of this year, but of this game. The offense, you had moments of inspiration. You had moments where they looked like, they might take this game to another level, but penalties shot them in the foot. Bad decision making by a quarterback shot us in the foot. A couple of play calls I didn't too much agree with. It didn't really cost us the game per se, of course, because we won, but could have cost us. And so as the result of that, the offense gets a C plus today. It was decent. They had some really good plays. I mean, you know, the 2 touchdown passes to MVS was pinpoint accurate. The decision to go for it on 4th down and whatnot, even though we didn't get it, was pretty good. I didn't like the fact that we didn't use Taysom Hill as much. If Taysom Hill isn't 100%, why is he even playing? Why tease us? Why tease us? It don't make sense. He's barely in the games since he returned. I don't understand it. Use him more. You really could have used him in some spots there, but it is what it is. Offense gets a C plus. Defense gets a B plus. Defense looked inspired today. They looked like they were ready for prime time. They, once again, for the most part, shut down Kirk Cousins. He really couldn't do anything of note. Yeah, he had over 300 yards passing, but that was all between the 20s. He did nothing in the red zone. He didn't throw a touchdown. The downside, we couldn't hold down Bijan Robinson, and I know that's a tall task because nobody can, to be honest with you. He's a beast, but he got loose, and defense caught a lot of flack, but a lot of that too was they were tired towards the end of the second half because they were on the field a lot. Offense was 3 and out, putting the defense back on the field. Yeah, they got tired. And so there is an excuse there, but if we're going to throw away the excuses, yeah, that's no excuse for not wrapping up and tackling. That's fundamentals. But they get a B plus today. They did get a turnover. They almost got 2 other turnovers, but they did put the Atlanta Falcons offense in very, very bad situations throughout the game. Special teams gets an A plus today. Only thing missing from special teams today was a punt return or a kickoff return. Everything else was perfect. It was perfect. You blocked a field goal. I ain't gonna say you made them miss 2 other field goals, but I'm gonna give you the credit nonetheless because the special teams was on the field. And so I'll give you that. They flipped field position when you needed to at times. It was special teams did great. Special teams gets an A plus. They've been the only consistent thing throughout this season. I think they only had 1 bad game this year. The special teams. I believe that was last week. It was either last week or against the Chargers. I can't remember exactly. But anywho's, they made up for it today. A plus. Coaching, I'm gonna give them a curve. Today they get a learning curve, and it's almost unfair, but honestly, I don't know no other way to give them this grade, or give them a grade other than an A plus, because you just lost the head coach. You had a few days to prepare, get your team prepared, let them know that, look, this is where we at. I'm the new guy. I'm the guy. I'm here with you. 10 toes down. We're in this together. We're going to go out here. We got this game plan. I'm going to have you prepared, and we're going to play. This dude had this team more prepared after being the head coach, interim as it may, but the head coach for 6 days. This team was more prepared than a guy who was the head coach for 3.5 or 2.5 years in any game. And for that, he gets an A plus. Overall, the New Orleans Saints gets an A minus for their performance against the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, look, I can't begin to express how excited I am to see this team actually get a victory. And it was a hard-earned victory. Nothing was given. They went out there and got it. Atlanta put up a fight. They did. I know I spent about 15, 20 minutes at the beginning of this show ragging on Atlanta, but Atlanta put up a fight. This wasn't no steamroll job by the New Orleans Saints. You know, they had to earn it, but the Saints went out there and earned it. Congratulations to the Saints and the Who Dat Nation. We needed this. We needed this in the worst way. I don't think we could have handled 8 in a row. Oh my God, I don't think we could have handled it. We convinced ourselves like, okay, it's a new head coach and whatever. We're all right with losing, losing out and getting a high pick and all that. But that's the lie we tell ourselves. But at the end of the day, we want to win. And we definitely want to win against Atlanta. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But that is the wrap up. That is it. Once again, just a recap in case you didn't hear. The New Orleans Saints have ended the 7-game lose streak against the Atlanta Falcons with a score of 20-17. Saints are now 3-7 on the year. Just for poo and giggles here, the NFC South standings as it stands right now, all 4 teams have played. So Atlanta is still at the top at 6-4. Tampa, who lost today, they're 4-6. Saints are 3-7. So we're just 1 game behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I didn't realize that till I just looked at that and my stomach dropped, because that signifies that we're still in it. We're still in this fight. My God. Anyways, but right behind the New Orleans Saints is the Carolina Panthers, who won today as well. They went all the way to Germany to win. And congratulations to Bryce Young, man. I mean, come on now. I know they're division foes, but I'm happy for that young man. 2 in a row. First time in his career he won 2 games in a row. And so they are 3-7 as well. So the big question mark, and this is your homework assignment for the week when we return to preview next week's game against the who we play next week? Oh yeah, that's right, the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, Jameis Winston returns to the Dome. And so and then we have the bye after that, right? So what do we win that game and go into the bye 4-7? I don't know. But your homework assignment for the week, and think it over, and honestly think it over. What do you want to do as an organization? What would you do? Would you tank? Would you get this high pick? And then if that's the case, for those of you who answer yes to that, who are you picking? And if you're in the camp of, no, let's win this out. Let's see if we can fight. Let's see if we can fight our way back in it. All right, that's cool. But do you think we can take on these upper echelons in the NFC? Detroit. If we was at full strength, I wouldn't be confident with Detroit. Detroit is a beast of a team. Honestly, that's the top of it's Detroit and everybody else in the NFC. That's the truth. But in any event, I don't know. Honestly, the black and gold in me, the who that in me, yeah, I want to win. I want to see how we stack up against everybody, but the common sense football analyst in me is like, man, just forget it, man. Try to rebuild. But you have Mickey Loomis coming out and saying, no, we're not rebuilding. We're not doing an overhaul. I think that was the verbiage that he used. We're not doing a complete overhaul. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. I mean, we got a lot of bad contracts and not casualties, but we have a real bad cap going into next year. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I got to think it over too. I gave myself homework as well. So it's a catch-22, I guess. Either you lose. But my only thing, and I said this I've been saying this for the past few weeks, to be honest with you, I just want my team to go out there and fight. If we can fight like we fought today in every game and we lose, I wouldn't complain at all. I wouldn't fuss, fight, argue, get mad, blood pressure raise, none of that. Because I know you went out there and gave it your all. And that's what they did today. That's all I'm asking for. So, in that regard, are you happy? Are you excited? Is your week gonna go well? I know it's been some dark days the last 2 months, and we finally can breathe. We can finally strut into work this Monday. Well, Tuesday for some of us. I'm off tomorrow. Yay! But we are finally back in the win column. How do you feel, and how are you feeling in the Who Dat Nation? Let me know by email, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You could also search for this show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network, as well as on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like this video, share this video. Just search for the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube. It's very simple, very, very simple. Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing. It'll be very, very appreciative. Everybody, thank you for joining me here on the Dome Patrol Podcast, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints here on the KB Radio Network. The Saints come out victorious yet again. It feels like it's been years to say that the Saints won. I don't even know how to feel right now, but I know it feels good. Everybody, enjoy your week. Enjoy your Veterans Day. To all the veterans out there, thank you for your service. And to all the Atlanta Falcons fans out there, all I got to say is, who dat?